Testing, testing.
Good morning. Merry Christmas. Very soon. Are you kids being good? Santa's coming. If the ushers could come forward, we'll do tithes and offerings. Jim is on his way.
It's to be released, or well, what a week. Last Sunday night I started feeling funny, and so I think it was Tuesday I decided to go to the doctor. Well, the first doctor gave me cough meds. I wasn't feverish, but for those of you that were here on Wednesday night, I basically couldn't even speak. So I went to the VA doctor on Thursday. She said I had acute bronchitis, and that she put me on steroid, and she took a picture of my lungs, all that, and said, if you're not better by Monday, she's going to call me on tomorrow and put me on antibiotics. So there's no way I can make it through an entire sermon this morning. And I thought I could once I got on steroids, but absolutely can't. And so anyway, I'm sorry about that. I wish I could preach a sermon, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some scriptures, and then we'll have an opportunity for you guys and gals to share what Christmas means to you. Again, I apologize. I thought I would be better by now, but I'm not. So I'm going to give you some scriptures first one comes from Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 14. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. This was prophesied during the time of Isaiah. There's over 300 prophecies that Jesus had to fulfill to become the Messiah, which he was. And if you've not read Isaiah, it's a very fascinating book, letter. And here is a direct quote: to the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, that is, God with us. Isaiah 9:6. And you get into the later chapters of Isaiah, you start getting into the suffering of Jesus. Isaiah 9:6. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Here we see the designation of who Jesus is. First of all, he is divine, he is everlasting, he's with the Father. He's also going to bring peace, he's going to be a counselor, and he will save the nation of Israel and the world from their sin. If you were to devise, and I don't think you can, when you have these prophecies that are written thousands of years before the birth of Jesus, it would be literally impossible to get all these authors in a line over the centuries to make it work. This is a reminder that God is the one that orchestrated all of this. Micah 5:2. But you, O Bethlehem Ephratah, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth from me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from the old and from the Ancient of Days. When Jesus was born, and I'm saving my sermon that I was going to preach today for Wednesday, So you can come back for that one. But when you think about, and y'all do know Bethlehem, the name means bread, which there's a connection with Jesus saying, I am the bread of life. So when we get to the Micah chapter, Micah 5:2, we see that Jesus is not born in a massive place. It's probably 10 miles from Jerusalem. But Bethlehem at the time of Christ, maybe a couple hundred people, very small place. Not significant by the world standards. And then you get to the actual birth of Jesus, which was in most likely a cave. And he's in there with animals, not in a palace. He's not in a mansion. And that was really a foreshadowing. That was really a foreshadowing of who Jesus came for. He came for the lowly. He came for those who were downtrodden, those who were outcast. He also came for those who were rich. But his birth should have been magnificent, in a magnificent palace, but it wasn't. Jesus was born with animals around him. Quite amazing. You think about trying to come up with this idea that this would be something grand, and God says no. He's going to reach those who society, high society, says are not worth anything. Now we fast forward to Luke. We fast forward to Luke 1:35. By the way, there was 430 years between the New Testament and the Old Testament, in that ballpark. You come to Luke 1:35, and the angel answered her, the Holy Spirit will come upon you, and by the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore the child will be born. The child to be born shall be called Holy, the Son of God. And again, if you're going to invent a new gospel or a new religion, this is not the way to do it. It's just not. It looks to the world like scandal, but guess what? Jesus, and I'll talk more about this on Wednesday night, Jesus was born exactly how we are born. We start out as embryos, then we go to fetuses, then we go to baby, and then eventually we pass through into this life. But yet, not only was Jesus born fully man, he was also fully God. And it's just amazing how God put this whole plan together. And by the way, it started way back before the creation of the world. God had this already in plan. And when I think about the world stage today, and I think about everything that's happening in our world, just know this. It looks like it may be chaotic, but God, it's all working out according to God's plan. Now we go to Luke 2, verse 7. And she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no place for them in the inn. And by the way, inns were really not the safest place to stay. It's not really, you think about inn, you think of Holiday Inn or wherever else you stay. It's not like that. These inns where you could be robbed, you could be killed, it was not good. But they chose a stable. And it's interesting because all the events from the leaders were pushing towards this moment, and they didn't even realize what was going on. Luke 2:11. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. Fulfillment of prophecy. Isn't the Christmas story amazing? And God went to great lengths to come down here to save me and to save you. He could have stayed in heaven and God could have washed his hands on us, but he didn't. And that's the most amazing part of this. John 1:14 says this, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory, glory as of the only Son of the Father, full of grace and truth." God incarnate took on flesh, lived like we lived, but he had to do it perfectly according to the Word of God, and he lived his life sinless and then took that life on the cross to pay for my sin and yours. And I think this is, and I'm sorry this is so short, but I think my voice is kind of out now. So, all right. So what I'd like to do now, this has been the weirdest Christmas ever. 2 weeks we missed church. I'm still counting this as a sermon, though, because I haven't missed a Christmas sermon in 37 years, so such as it is. I'd be curious what Christmas means to you guys and gals. Thank you. Mark. Oh, Mark, you got to get a little more spiritual than that. Time of giving? Yes, Jared, it is. Time of giving. Yep. Yep. Mhm. That's really good, Kent.
Yeah.
I like in the month of December, I start with the book of Luke, and it has 24 chapters. So if you start December 1st, you end on Christmas Eve. Talk the birth of Christ, his ministry, and on Christmas Eve you get to his resurrection. That's why Jesus came.
Anybody else?
Well, aside from that new Lexus, I might be getting. When I read Isaiah, which I love, those prophecies were given to Isaiah 700 years before Christ would come fulfill them. And I like remembering that because the New Testament gives us scriptures promising he's coming back. And that those of us who are born again will meet him in the air and will be raptured. Well, God took 700 years before he fulfilled those Isaiah promises. So, it's been 2,000. But I feel, we can have assurance that he will fulfill those.
Come on, somebody else. David, Deacon David.
Christmas was never really all that much to me until one very warm Christmas. And home and family became very, very important. And then Jolene came along. And Christmas has just been family and giving thanks to God for all I have.
Mike,
I
Deacon Mike.
agree. Family has always been a highlight of Christmas, with getting together with many of our family and doing events and such. But now that I'm older and we've lost members of the family and other family members get their own children and start doing their own thing, it just makes the point that family is an amazing part of Christmas. It's very memorable, but it shouldn't be the most important part because that changes. Christ is the only one that stays the same, so it's important to keep Christ the center of Christmas because if we rely on anything else, even good things, family, friends, and events, that and just those things don't stay with Christ.
Amen.
Bruce.
I have a hard time, but I think about the ones we've lost that are in heaven. How many years have they enjoyed Christ for Jesus? They've been with them. And I think a lot of that, it is losing someone you think about.
I think about Bill.
Yep.
Bill Folk used to sit over there. Emmett
Emmett.
would sit back there and give me a hard time.
How happy they are.
Emmett really did give me a hard time. Did I tell you a story about Emmett when I first got here? I'll tell you later. I don't want to tell this one now.
I would want to hear it.
Well, I can't remember. I was up here and he goes, Pastor, I want to see you back here. And I grabbed my Bible because I probably had to defend myself. Went back in there and he said, shut the door. He acted mad. I said, hey, what's going on? Shut the door. And he said, I'm going to tell you something. You're the best pastor we've ever had. I never forgot that. And he said, don't tell anybody I said that. So I told it at his homegoing service. Emmett was quite the character. I have another Emmett story. These are rolling now, but I don't know if my voice will hold that. But we were getting ready to go on vacation. Have y'all heard this one? Getting older. Getting older.
Yeah, right.
It'll be new to me. We were leaving the side going into the parsonage, and we're getting ready to go on vacation. And Emmett's getting in his little red car, and he yells out, "We'll miss you." Audrey goes across, gives Emmett a kiss on his cheek, and he goes, "I was talking about your husband." See? This is the Emmett Christmas special. I really.
Okay. He didn't live long enough to see it got close.
Wow!
Yeah.
Hallelujah, man, that was like prophetic stuff, that's all.
Yeah, it was.
Devin.
When I started dating Ron, of course, my brother lived right across the street from Ron, and I'd babysit for the twins. And Ron would come over and watch TV with us. Well, Emmett would pull in and Ron wouldn't be there, so he'd march back to his truck and go home. And I forget who called, I think it was Ron's mom, that, "Man, I can't see Ron anymore since he started going with that woman."
I got in the car with Emmett once, and I never did it again. I was over on this side tapping the brake. I said, "Emmett, you're doing 65 on 45. I said, "You got to slow down." He said, "I'm doing all right." And I'm like, yeah, I really miss Emmett. Miss Bill. There's a lot of them. I miss Rosemary and Wade. Yeah. Rosemary was one of my favorites too. I can't say that. I'm not supposed to say that as a pastor. All of you are my favorites. Who else have we lost here?
Yeah.
Golda Jean. And you know, these were the people that laid the foundation for what we have today, right? Christ laid the foundation for the church, but these people dedicated their time to grow a church here in Tolono. And yeah, every time I go back in the nursery and I see the chair, I always think of Wade.
Sammy Jane. Probably told us before, I'm telling it again. I got my first and only ever speeding ticket, no, traffic ticket. I rolled a stop sign in Tuscola. What I didn't know is it would be in the newspaper. So I come walking in Sunday morning from there.
Oh, no.
Sammy Jane's in the back with a newspaper. "Audrey, you're in the paper." She was fun.
You know, she passed on Christmas Eve. I was in my office getting ready for our evening Christmas Eve service, and I think it was one of the Woodcocks. I got his name.
Robin,
Yes, he called me Christmas Eve and said that she had passed away. Kind of shocking. Yeah, and things cycle, and we have to, remember them, and I'm not sure how we got down this track. Somebody talked about family, and it just, this has been the weirdest Christmas Day service I've ever been in. No, it's all right. Anybody else got any? Brother Larry?
Yeah, Luann and I, we're all about family, but, Christmas can be sad also. And in our family this year, we have lost about 6. And that really makes this Christmas a little different. And I'm hoping that we can celebrate and all this, but we'll always be remembering, and these are people that's really close to us. And but it can also be sad, that, thank God they're up there now watching over us. So that's a wonderful thing to know and to have, but it's still sad.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys don't feel that way, but I do about family. And it's quite a loss to us, but they're in a better place.
Yeah.
And Luann's sister passed away, and he says, I'm going to a better place. So that's something we can really enjoy right now. Because there's a lot of sickness and there's a lot of things happening. The big cancer word, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to have. But anyway, that's all I got. Oh, I did want to say that Bob Witt, David, he passed away, and his daughter and Robbie passed away, and they were big members here forever. That's when we had, in the men's class, we had 12 and 14, and we had big turnout at that time. But he was one of the, he was a good one. Hated to see him leave, and we did a lot of sports together. We went to the high school games and all this stuff. But I just read it in the paper. I didn't know that Cindy's daughter passed away. Also. But
Her husband died just about 2 weeks before her. Her husband was my first cousin.
Larry's right. There's sadness too. I think of, y'all remember to pray for service members overseas. That's kind of a big thing. They're protecting us, so remember to pray for them. Holly, you got anything? Just happy.
no.
I think most of us can relate to what Larry is saying.
Yeah.
And what Mike said about, you can't rely on it. People die.
Yeah.
But God is bringing a new generation into your family.
that's right. That's
With
right.
little
I forgot to mention,
Harper.
Really something really good happened.
Yeah, she is gorgeous.
Anybody else? You guys can leave and say this is the weirdest Christmas service we've ever had. Before we go, Christmas Eve service will be at 6 o'clock. We're going to be finalizing it after Sunday school today. I might hold the Christmas message for next Sunday, now that I'm thinking about things. So I'll preach Christmas next Sunday, and I guess that's all I got. Tyler, what, you got something to say?
It's all been said already.
All right, we gotta have a closing.
We do.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna stay away from you guys and gals, so don't be offended. I'm not gonna hug you or
We'll pray.
Hymn number 87, Joy to the World.
You may be